Let's talk about why we play Helldivers 2. More specifically, let's talk about the ship management system, which is the game's progression system, as it allows you to unlock more as you progress and gain levels. If you've played Helldivers, you're certainly familiar with it. This system has items to unlock for players, and different items require different levels. Once you've reached level 25, you can unlock all items once you have enough requisition slips. Just like the War system, this system is designed to reward players for playing, as it is the place to spend the resources earned on missions. One issue with this system is that there are too few options here to sink resources into. This means that most players have the ship's stratagem options maxed out, and each time Arrowhead release a single new item, most members of the community immediately pick it up as they have all the needed resources. The same thing is true for ship modules. The cost of ship modules is samples that we find on the map. This in itself is a really good design, as it incentivizes players to explore the map beyond the main objectives. I believe that Arrowhead is aware of the value of having resource sinks that incentivize players to go explore. The short story is that missions become less repetitive when players go look for resources, as they provide more variety and make the missions take longer. Common for both, though, is that there's not enough of them, as some players play so much that there's nothing else to unlock, and that is what I want to talk about in this video and the next couple of videos. While the solution, of course, is for Arrowhead to release more ship modules and stratagem options for us to unlock, I do believe that it matters how these are released. So first, let me show you how I would reorganize the support weapon stratagem system and the ship module upgrades to provide for a better experience. Next, I will talk shortly about how it should be implemented into the game. So, if we look at the list of support weapon stratagems we have available when we go on missions, it looks something like this. As Arrowhead releases more support weapons, this list is going to get much longer. Actually, if Arrowhead would implement all the new support weapon stratagems I'm going to propose in the next couple of videos, this list would end up looking something like this. Instead, I propose Arrowhead should implement some support weapon categories. This would have three benefits. First, it would make the support weapon space much less cluttered. This is good for newer players who are trying to find out what to invest in, and veteran players who have everything unlocked. Secondly, it would make it easier to sell the idea of new support weapon stratagems that is just a spin-off of an existing support weapon stratagem in that category. It is a simple matter of consumer psychology. When the category exists, it creates expectations that weapons in that category have something in common, whereas weapons that exist as separate categories create expectations that they should be conceptually different from the existing options. And lastly, it would allow Arrowhead to create ship modules for each of these weapon categories separately, creating many more ways to spend resources to support playstyles, especially since the support weapon stratagems could be priced slightly higher than they are at the moment, and maybe even cost samples as well. When these weapons exist inside a category that is easily accessible, it will feel less discouraging to new players that there are high level requirements and cost on some of the options, as the initial option is available with a relatively low requirement. The system would look something like this. If I would take the railgun, this weapon is distinct enough that we should have a separate category for the weapon. And once the player unlocks this category, they would get the first weapon there. In this case, the railgun. And once we click on the weapon, we would then get into this subcategory space where the available variants for the weapons would be listed. Immediately, the standard railgun is available, and we can see that there are three other options available in this space. In this example, we would click on the RST-01 EMS tranquiliser. It's a weapon that would be able to stun a single enemy, even large enemies like Bile Titans and tanks, but only if you can penetrate their armor, which is where the railgun's charge-up mechanic come into the picture. The weapon is mechanically different from the standard railgun, but conceptually it has some overlaps, and it uses existing weapon technology to a different end. This would then also create a space with room for higher costs to reward players at higher levels, so even at higher levels, you feel like you earn each new addition to the arsenal. The categories I propose for the existing weapons are machine guns, expendable rockets, rocket launchers, grenade launchers, railguns, rifles, cannons, laser weaponry, arc weapons, chemical weapons, and lastly, mechanical exosuits. This still leaves space for Arrowhead to come up with completely new mechanical concepts, as well as developing on the existing conceptual space. This would allow Arrowhead to create separate ship modules for each weapon type. For example, ship modules for the machine gun could look something like this. First unlock would be machine gun stratagems deployed with full ammunition. The second one would be that resupply boxes refill magazines of machine guns to the maximum number of magazines. And lastly, machine gun stratagems deploy with a backpack with extra ammunition and team reload capability. I propose that the mechanical exosuit category would work slightly different from the rest of these categories. I'll explain this further in a video about this weapon group in particular, but the gist of the exosuit would be to have new unlocks for the exosuit every 10th level, making the exosuit the measure of progression. I propose that the ship module upgrade for this one would be a modular exosuit, allowing you to mix and match bodies, primary and secondary weapons for your deployed exosuit. As an addendum, I would apply the same system to backpacks such as guard dogs, which would allow a wider selection of weaponry for the drone, but this video is only about support weapons. If this series of videos finds an audience that is interested, I might explore the backpack options in future videos though. Narratively, this system makes sense. That Super Earth is trying to adjust their existing technology to new ends before developing vastly new technologies. It would allow Arrowhead to release support weapons that support the current narrative of the story and meet the requests of the community. Such as if the community state that they have problems with Bile Titans, then Super Earth would develop a weapon that can stun Bile Titans or help divers take them out in other ways. Or when we need to weaponize dark fluid, maybe we could get a support weapon that does this, allowing Super Earth to participate in an arms race with the enemies of the game continuously countering each other. In a short series of videos, I'll explore twists to the existing support stratagem weapons I envision Arrowhead could create easily. Tell me in the comments if you have any ideas, or simply give this video a like if you want to see more of this type of content reach the developers at Arrowhead. Until next time, players gonna play, haters gonna hate, and I'm just gonna sit back and play nice with other people. See you later.